Hello and welcome to KTaNE League 2021 EFM action. Alongside MCD 573, my name's Yabagai, and we do in fact have faces.
Yo!
Don't forget, if you've never played KTaNE, check out keeptalkinggame.com. Much simpler than what you'll see here, and you're bound to have an explosively good time. Come on over to our official Discord at discord.gg/KTANE as well. Today's matchup features, for the first time in 2 weeks, Group A action between Espik and makebao. Espik has not yet faced an opponent, so this is his first match that will count towards the official standings, and makebao is also looking for his first win after dropping the first match to Legend Wilhey. MCD, your thoughts on a couple of things. First of all, this matchup overall and how to find that first win. Who do you think is either favored to win this matchup, or how do you think it might shake out?
I don't know. I think both of them have their strengths. I mean, Makebao's really good at kind of organizing his work. Having worked with him before as the diffuser on the team Negative Creativity, I know for a fact he's really good at kind of how he formats his stuff, so he's able to kind of maintain a calm head. Espik, though, is a really, really strong diffuser in EFMer, as we've seen in last year's league, and just in general, he's really good at EFMing challenge bombs, even at EFM the Centurion.
And one last And also, I wanted to get your thoughts on the staff picks all being puzzles this week. We've got Mosu, Crackbox, Tetravex, Binary Puzzles, Set. Do you think extra prep with either these modules will create an advantage? Has that always been the case in weeks past? Or what are your thoughts when you see the staff picks come out, given that you're in an EFM group of your own?
What I think is really interesting is that those staff picks are all what could be considered solos. You don't need to look at a manual if you know how to do the puzzle. So if the people who are doing these bombs can kind of formulate a way to solo them in their brain, then it's kind of just become second nature to them at some point. So it ultimately comes down to who has the more efficient method in their head.
We shall soon see. Remember, the winner of this matchup is whoever defuses their bomb fastest with more bomb timer remaining, or whoever disarms more modules than their opponent, and should each explode on the same solve count, the bomb is tied. It's a best of 3 bombs, and for this broadcast, the bombs will be presented in reverse order of play. This first bomb will be the equal bomb. 5 modules each, 1 staff pick, for a total of 11 modules in 15 minutes. With that said, shall we get underway with match 1 action?
I think we shall. We're going to be hearing Makebao's audio as I swap over to the magical screen where you can see the bombs in front of us and the HUDs to the left and right. Keep in mind, if you keep an eye on those, you'll see the strike count, the solve count, and also a timer. There's also a percentage score, which kind of gives you a rough indication of how the diffuser is doing in relation to the time. Let's get going, shall we? Makebao already solving percent gray with that 0% there. It'll be really easy, at least in that particular situation, because there's no gray.
You sure there's not like 10%, not even a little iota?
Maybe? I don't know.
That was the first of 5 modules that comes from Espik's list. Espik's list stuck out to me because I think there are a lot of carefully chosen ones designed to create an advantage. His picks: Percent Gray, Quick Time Events, that looks like the PS2 controller, X-Ray, Synchronization, and Sound Design.
I think, honestly, especially with certain modules being particularly quick for him to do, it kind of allows him to get set, in a sense, to really get ahead on time, which is really important if both people end up solving their bomb. And as you can see, it's already tied. Now, Makebao, on the other hand, he has Tetrimons on his list. Tetrimons, depending on the case, it can be a really, really big time sink, and we've seen that with the teams that my team has gone against actually blowing up simply because of the strong Tetrimons case. And the fact that Makebao was able to get it so quickly kind of allows there to be some sort of time advantage as well.
Tetrimons on Makebao's list, 3D Tunnels, the Black Page, which Espik should be very good at as well. We've seen it before. Battleship, and Broken Guitar Chords, which is quick, but if you're very familiar with it, I think could have a time advantage as well. And then Set comes from the staff picks.
Looks like both people are now attacking synchronization. Espik with a slight lead currently in solve count, but both people still very ahead on time, so they're doing really, really good.
This has become a match of keep watching us talk and let them solve everything. 4-3 already for Espik. Synchronization here. We're trying to figure out the speed of all those flashing lights and then click them in a specific order. I hope the frame rate holds up.
Looks like Espik's on the last part before you do the very easy submit, which is just... Oh! It was a second too early.
He hasn't gotten that last step done, but that is strike one for Espik. Now comes the easy part, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Strike one already.
Match the seconds to the number on the display.
See a 5, click a 5. Remember, strikes do desync the timers. That's not a video recording. Whoops, well, now the clocks are running at the same speed, but strikes accelerate the timer. They are now going at 1.25 times speed compared to a normal second. Espik is doing... Sorry to keep talking. Espik is doing quick time events, which is 7-second button presses or else you strike, so you got to be quick on that.
And it looks like makebao is slightly ahead just because he got the strike a little bit later. Oh, but that second strike's going to speed things up.
Keeps going with it, too. I'm not sure I would keep going after that second strike. Makebao is very resilient, though. I know this about him.
And that's a solve.
7-4. Look at that. Remember, this is the equal bomb. Equal number of modules for each side. Makebao doing quick time events, which is off of Espik's list.
Espik attacking 3D tunnels. He's looking for a line that he can use to kind of orient himself. Because in this particular maze, you can't go forward. You can only turn and then drive forward, as the module manual says. The thrust key is broken.
You think they'd upgrade that ship by now, but unfortunately...
It's probably too expensive. You know, bombs are very expensive to make already. Looks like Makebao's now attacking Battleship, which is another puzzle, although not a staff pick. And there's a second strike on Espik's bomb.
Battleship is one from the Centurion, so it's one that a lot of people will be familiar with. This seems to be a particularly tricky one. Makebao seems to have all the radars down and is trying to still slot those ships in nonetheless.
I think he's trying to avoid taking a 50-50 chance at this point. He doesn't want to have to risk the bomb solve for solved Battleship.
There's Espik with 3D tunnels.
Yeah, it's currently 8-5 right now, but it looks like it's about to be 6.
Can Espik make heads or tails of this Battleship?
Oh, I didn't know Asus made guitars.
Sell out. Espik's got the radars down as well. My connection might be dithering in and out, I apologize. There's broken guitar chords.
As we hear Makebao's Windows sign. That was not my notification. And I do have Discord muted, so...
You've got mail.
You've got mail. Currently 8-7 right now.
X-Ray is another one off of Espik's list, but I could see why he could put it on there to try and gain an advantage, but this is one also that has been around for long enough, rather. And Makebao does get it rather promptly, and just like that, we are tied 8-8, but Espik is plugging in Battleship right now, gets it, that's 9.
Whoa.
And now Tetriamons.
Ooh. I'm curious to see how long Espik's going to take on this Tetriamons, because I know Makebao got it nearly instantaneously. It was only like 15 seconds-ish.
Does that imply it's easier, or does that imply Makebao's really stupid good at it?
He is really stupid good, considering he could even get a rhomboid case quickly, which is the hardest case to get.
Triamons turns my brain into spaghetti anyway.
I don't know it.
Like the pieces of my brain fall out like the triangles in that hexagon.
Yeah, it's just like you just kind of like smack
Like,
the back of your ear and they just come pouring out.
drawn out in several directions.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we have the webcams on so you can see that illustration. And Espik is on to broken guitar chords. He's got Tetriamons done, as you mentioned. So just what might be one of the simpler modules on the bomb. If Espik gets this, this is over, as makebao does 3D tunnels here.
That's a solve. 9 to 10 right now.
Set could be quick, but Espik's starting to plug in broken guitar chords here. It's just a matter of accuracy at this
And
point.
it's right.
Yes!
And that's a first bomb win for Espik. We're going to keep watching makebao's bomb to see how he does on the other 2 modules. But Espik has already pulled himself 1-0. Reminder, you need 2 bombs to win.
Well, congratulations to Espik on that one. That was the equal bomb, so I would say advantage Espik at this point, since we'll expect him to do well on the first bomb as well. Meanwhile...
And it looks like we had the video just stopped. Thank you, Ethan. Oh. Well, let's discuss this bomb, shall we?
I'll pull up the out-of-town scoreboard while we discuss this here, but you were predicting, so Tetriamons might very well have made the difference there, since you mentioned makebao did it very quickly, but Espik did it well enough to get ahead on that one, and that proved to, I think, be the difference. What was your takeaway from that matchup?
Me personally, I felt like it was fairly equal moving on. It's just that Espik was able to get that battleship a lot quicker, which I think was the main thing that pulled him ahead, because, again, makebao wanted, from what I can tell, makebao wanted to avoid doing a 50-50, and Espik was able to just kind of fill it out in a separate area and then plug it all in without having to hit water squares to eliminate certain things.
He might have been willing to take a guess later on in the bomb, but as it was, Espik worked the quickest, and he is up 1-0 after, well, bomb 3, I suppose, since we're airing them in reverse order. Now the out-of-town scoreboard here. Legend Willet over Mosque Elite, 3-0. That's 3 defusals for Legend Willet over Mosque's 1. Teppel over Bianca, 3-0 as well. Edan over Ben, 3-0. Then we have Caleb 2-1 over James, and Procyon 3-0 over Cookie. That's 1 defusal and 2 nearly defused bombs there. Jasper and Asu will showcase at another point, if not earlier this week later. And then we had Defusal taking on Negative Creativity, and Negative Creativity pulls off a 2-1 win.
Let's go.
And then Stay Crazy, Stay Cruel versus Cloudburst will also be showcased later on. Let me just hit my webcam toggle real quick. Hello again.
And then click on your Discord page real quick so that it refreshes your face, because right now we just see your beautiful logo. I can cut this out. Oh, now it's doing me. And now I see you. There we go. All right, I will cut that out. I will cut that out. All right. All right, moving on to bomb number 2. In this particular one, I believe Espik had the advantage going in, being 7 of his modules.
It was makebao, actually.
Makebao.
Bomb 2.
Oh.
Espik, I have 3 modules for Espik, and then the rest are off makebao's list.
I see. It looks like we'll be hearing Espik's audio for this next bomb. But shall we move into it?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, there's cookie jars. This is a makebao bomb. Makebao picking that as his boss module. Interesting.
And as the lights come in...
makebao not fussing with the edge work at all, going right after Masu, which is the puzzler right off the staff list. No edge work required for that. That is the staff pick, and Espik's modules are his own world's largest button, Currents, which is the sailboats tumbling down, represented by the colorful numbers, red, blue, yellow, and green, and Phosphorescence, the Emic module. where you take L's as a game mechanic.
Yeah, quite literally. And it also has very wonderful sound effects. I really do admire the sound effect design for it.
PopCap Games, please don't sue us. We just love your games.
Thanks! Demonetized.
Public service.
A really interesting thing about World's Largest Bun is you have to listen to the sounds that it produces, as it'll produce a random sound from the vanilla soundtrack, which will actually tell you how to diffuse the module.
And we all remember those sounds, right?
I hope so.
Listen, back in my day... Oh, sorry, wrong module. Referencing the third man's old fogey.
Oh, yeah. Back in my day, we didn't have these fancy bombs!
We had wires! Well, these old newfangled contraptions. Espik solves Mossio and we're tied 1-1.
Nom nom nom. Thank you, Cookie Monster.
I'll do that later.
Rather to the point from Espik there.
This is kanji off of Makebao's list. Makebao fluent in Mandarin, no surprise. Although, this is Japanese, I should stress, but still, many of the characters are the same, so...
It's also fairly easy to do if you're looking at it from a EFM perspective, because you don't have to discuss what the symbols look like. You can just, hey, that's a symbol. Okay, I click this.
Or, even if we're talking about Necronomicon, it's just an alphabet you might know better than the other guy.
Basically.
Is Makebao looking to bounce back in this matchup, having dropped the first bomb we saw, but now on the power play here.
Espik was sort of flip-flopping between the two. He was going with, as Kanji was submitting a stage, he was listening to Melody Sequencer, I believe. No, that's not the right mod. Is it Harmony Sequence?
Harmony Sequence is the cyan one.
Yes. He was listening to the Harmony Sequence in order to kind of go back and forth on the stages. It might allow him to kind of speed up the pace at which the solve count increases, in a sense.
Multitasking saves time, as Makebao takes a look at Triamans here.
It's the other one that makes your brain go,
Am I understanding this correctly? That's off of... Yes, that's off of Makebao's list.
Yes.
Makebao did both Triamans and Tetriamans.
Yes, because he loves the polymans.
It's a tricky manual to discern, so if you know it or you've seen the tutorials for it, which didn't Elias make them? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, Elias did make them.
The fearless TD himself.
Indeed. Shameless thank you to Elias, as always, for making the tournament happen.
That's right. Right, man.
You can hear Espik audibly complaining about his tennis output. Does he not have it? Or is... I think he's still scoring it.
Tennis is just a pain in the
That's
butt.
right.
I know when I did it against Cookie, I just flat out left it because I hate tennis. I like the sport, hate the module.
But was taking it one serial number character at a time, it seemed, and he's got it. 6-2. As Makebao looks at Kanji and Espik looks at, guess what? Battleship.
It's back.
Frick off.
Here we go again.
Espik again visibly annoyed by the battleship.
Oh, it's small ships though. You got two of the length, what do you call them, patrol boats in the old game, and two single ships which
I'll go back to that
don't
in a
exist
minute.
in the old game.
Phosphorescence, it's time for a time crunch. I believe Espik's going to get about 8 minutes here. Yep, just under 8 minutes in order to calculate a whole bunch of letters based on how many L's there are visible in the module. Now, a really interesting thing about phosphorescence is, although the actual letter that is the decoy will change every time you say reshuffle it if you don't get all of them or don't form a word, the word you do get will actually end up being the same, and it looks like Espik just missed an L.
I'm just most interested by the decision to do this not as the last module. Your take on that?
I think it's interesting as well because, again,
EFM.
the more time you get is based on the amount of modules you solve. It's proportional. If it's the last module remaining, you're going to have 10 minutes. If it's the first module you'll solve, you'll have 5.
The one thing you hope is
yeah.
The one thing you hope is it doesn't take all 7 minutes. We've only got 9:15 left in the bomb. makebao looking at tennis and gaining ground. 6-4 Espik.
And again, Espik did miss. I did see Espik miss an L in that second stage, which could, depending on the word, it could make it. It could be not a big deal. He could be able to figure it out because it's not an imposter, and it would change the word and actually make it a word. Or if it does form a word, he could input the incorrect solution, which I know I've done.
Can he suss out the imposter? That is the question.
Among Us reference.
I was trying to avoid it for so long that it was just right there for the taking.
I don't think you could have stopped it.
So we're starting to settle into contemplative states here as we're still looking at phosphorescence and tennis here. Phosphorescence, which came off of Espik's list, so you wonder if makebao will leave it for the end, considering it's not off his advantage list.
Yeah, I think he will. And also, I think Espik realized that he did, in fact, misread a letter, because you see him, he's going for a reshuffle. He's counting those L's again. Now, again, it's going to form the same word, but the imposter letters could be different and in different positions. So you could have JJJ male J, or SSMSSAILS. Could be completely different.
makebao is doing Lego here. Which...
Everyone seems to have a different way of attacking that. Some people use Minecraft, some people use the actual Lego builder, and some people just visualize it.
Tough to do with pen and paper, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Is he gonna miss another L? Ooh, Espik missed another L.
If I understood a post I saw on the KTaNE Discord recently, shameless plug, I saw someone say that one of the open source builders for Lego actually came back online, so it's another resource available.
Nice. And I noticed Espik missed another L. That he's going to have 2 misread letters in this particular reshuffle. And keep in mind...
You know
it's a word?
God.
You know it's a reset when you hear the noise. 4:15 left on the phosphorescence timer.
Keep in mind, if that timer hits 0, you're going to hear a glass shatter, and that glass shatter equals a strike.
We'll warn you if there are any sudden noises about to happen.
Mm.
We did remember to turn no pacing on, right?
Yes. I would hope so. Alarm clock. Well, if we were listening to Caleb, we'd just hear the sting for Only Connect.
One thing is your eyes are not playing tricks on you. Phosphorescence mechanic is that the colors start sublimating and becoming... Is that your computer?
No, that's Espik. He's typing.
Error. Phosphorescence not computing. Lego being built on the other side by makebao. Solve count potentially equalizing.
And as you can see, if you don't get your phosphorescence letters quick enough, it will fade to gray, and you won't be able to figure it out. Espik going for a third reshuffle, realizing he's misread the letters again. He's going quickly, but that, again, can be a bit of a crunch when it comes to phosphorescence, because if you go quickly, you miss missing the L's. You risk missing the L's.
I'm still of the belief this is unnecessary drama, but of course we appreciate drama.
Of course.
With all due respect.
We're watching to see if we can spot him missing any more L's.
Now, don't underestimate the fact that makebao is doing Lego now. If you've got one brick out of place, that could... Oh, he's got it.
He's got it. Oh, but he didn't get his cookies in. If you don't get a cookie if you don't eat a cookie within 5 solves, you get hungry, man. You need the cookies. You'll starve to death.
Oh, I'd like another cookie, please. That's a Flash reference no one knows.
It's like, I believe you hear, I believe it's Heavy from Team Fortress 2 going, "Oh, no!"
If only we had makebao's
So is it
audio
memo?
on.
Yeah. Reminds me of when if you screw up on the boss module organization, you'll Order! Order!
MCD, I don't mean to alarm you, but Espik's phosphorescence timer has ticked down below 2 minutes, and makebao is now passing him in solve count.
Ooh, with only 4 minutes left on the bomb timer as well. Makebao's
But
now
what
going
about
at
a
that
battleship?
battleship. Battleship was a bit of a time sink last bomb. We'll see how it does for him this time.
Remember, we are showing these out of order, so this is actually the first one makebao was seeing. Ooh, Espik's at
Phosphorescence
submission
emission.
stage.
He's gonna write down all 8 of those letters and calculate it based off of the offset, which can be gotten from the binary digit performed by looking at that timer. You're gonna see it's gonna turn on and off at different states. It's gonna be lighter, darker, darker, lighter. Those will form a binary number, which you can then calculate an offset for, which you then look at each letter to submit. Espik's only got 1 minute to figure it out, though.
The significance of the timer turning red should be plainly obvious.
1 minute, one letter in, 2 letters in. You need 4 or 5, depending on what the word is. 4 in. Is it a solve?
I'm gonna lose to that.
Makebao's got 8.
It's a solve! Phosphorescence is done. Makebao's left phosphorescence, though. It's only got 2.
It's an epic solve for Espik, but look at the solve disparity here, 9-7, and the bomb timer's both under 3 minutes, except that makebao has the strike that's taking him below that quicker.
He also doesn't have a phosphorescence done yet. I suspect he might be leaving it for an end just to make sure he has 10 out of 11 solves, because as we know very well, solve counts do matter.
Nor currents. Can you visualize the tumbling boats quickly enough? Might not matter, though. If Espik doesn't get the 2 solves we now know he needs. Triamines is the easier of the 2 obvious triangle series between that and tetriamines.
Also the fact you don't have a rhomboid case to worry about. And that's a
No.
strike. And now you get to listen to tetriamines make lovely humming noises. Timer's now moving at equal speeds, although makebao is still going to be below just because of how early he got that strike. Makebao now going just under a minute left in 3 seconds.
Do you keep going after that triangular theremin when the timer's running down? But at some point you need to solve as well.
It's 1, 2, 3.
Here we go again.
And that's
Yes.
a solve. Espik needs one more solve to guarantee at least a tie.
It's gotta be Battleship, right? You're not doing a Lego now, are you?
I don't think he's got time to.
I didn't see the other one. Currents, isn't it? Espik
Yeah,
hasn't
it's
done
currents.
either.
Makebao is looking to submit his currents answer. Can he do it before that bomb explodes? It's getting close.
Espik now under a minute. Makebao leading 9-8.
10 seconds left on Makebao, and that's a solve. It's 10
10?
It's 10-8. Espik needs 2 solves now in under 45 seconds, which turns about to be about 30 seconds left in 0 strike time.
How does that happen?
I don't think he's getting it. He might
Liam
get it.
Sauvé dirge is playing. This might be it.
That's
But
9
Battleship's
solves.
been-
He doesn't have anything he can get unless he just YOLO's currents. No.
Lego currents.
No.
You gotta try, haven't you?
No. And that's a strikeout.
Well, it's a sporting finish nonetheless. But Makebao equalizes with 10 solves to 9. We're tied.
Oh boy, let's talk about that bomb, Yaba. It was intense. We had Espik going with that phosphorescence, which took nearly the entirety of its timer, only to hear that really satisfying solve sound at the end.
I don't understand it, to be honest. I wish it was left for later, because A, you get more time, and B, it doesn't time sync, because Espik did do it on the first time. And it was off his list as well, so perhaps it was just a matter of also considering there was a lot of makebao all over that bomb because it was his advantage bomb. But I think it still could have been saved for even a little bit later as well. So I'm not going to rail on it, but I disagree with it respectfully.
Yeah. I also feel like it was a bit interesting to notice the fact that Espik did misread it twice. He had to go for a third reshuffle. Phosphorescence can be really unforgiving if you don't get it the first time, just because of the fact that you're on a time crunch. Not to mention from the actual bomb, but also from the module itself.
And then I think it was also just a matter of makebao did very well with his advantage modules, Lego, which could potentially mess you up if you just get one brick out of place. Got it perfect.
Now,
Things
the one
like that.
thing I think we should talk about is what we didn't see and won't be seeing from makebao's list, considering every competitor had 2 vetoes they got to make against the other person. And that's what my sticky note and Yaba's index card is for.
Espik vetoed Lousy Chess and Turtle Robot, 2 time-consuming multi-step modules. You might as well read makebao's vetoes, MCD.
Makebao vetoed away, which we will definitely not be seeing on this next bomb, which will be Espik's advantage bomb. We will not be seeing 3 Cryptic Steps, a very wise choice in my opinion, and Synesthesia, another really wise choice where you have to listen to so many different pings and pongs just to figure out what colors you're using. Takes way too much time.
Ping pong, ping pong pong. And then 3 Cryptic Steps was Espik's module. I don't think there's much more to say, MCD. We are tied 1-1 in this match, and we are looking to what is now the first played bomb and the last aired bomb to break this tie.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
We're going to be hearing, I believe...
Screwed me over.
Ooh, yeah, it did. Espik mentioning the phosphorescence there. But as we wait for the video to tick over to the next bomb...
Anyway, but I don't know if I even want my bomb. This is really bad.
That's a bit of foreshadowing. We load in as we're going to hear makebao's audio this time, and as we can see on the left there, it looks like we're going to be seeing some other modules, such as, oh, it looks like Synesthesia made it on makebao's bomb somehow. I thought he vetoed it away. He may have changed his vetoes at the last second. I remember him mentioning something about that.
I'll go back to the drawing board of that. I apologize for the mistaken announcement.
And now we hear the ping pong pong.
What I have here off makebao's list is Melody Sequencer, Broken Guitar Chords, which we've seen both previously, and Pattern Cube, Crackbox being the staff pick.
And it looks like from Espik's list we're seeing, it's a module about taking orders for a fast food restaurant that I can't remember the name of.
Drive-in window.
Drive-in window! Would you like some dirt for $50.25?
It's an obnoxiously esoteric programming language, but like I said, Espik is trying to get time advantages here, and if you know the tricks, there's ways to calculate that really, really quickly.
Espik's doing that even before he gets edge work, as makebao's kind of doing the synesthesia before he gets edge work. I don't even think Espik's seen the synesthesia yet.
Synesthesia is 16 different pitched outputs that you have to figure out and input in this weird ziggurat, snaky order. And if you miss the sequence at any point, the only way to play it is to start all the way back from the beginning.
Dun dun. That's a nice shade of green.
On the front of Espik's bomb here, as he still continues to just stew over Drive-In Window, which is just an audio-only module, is... Did my audio cut out?
No.
Drive-In Window, Mastermind Cruel... Where's the status light on Drive-In Window? What happened there? Synchronization, Harmony Sequence, and there was a module in the top right. It's escaped me.
Sound design?
Sound design. Sound design is an interesting one because it's essentially replicating the sounds through trial and error. I think it's one of the modules that uses the manual the least in general, and you're relying much more on just how you're interacting with the module, because you can record the sound, play it back over and over before you submit, and see how the knobs are adjusting everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of trial and error that, if you're more familiar with it, could create an advantage here, as Espik is up 2-0 here.
And that's a solved synesthesia.
Good.
Smiley face.
Cuts the lead in half.
Synesthesia is a bit of a time sink, though, so that is a definitely good solve to have out of your way first. Pattern Cube's another thing you don't need to read edge work for. Got a tickle in my throat. I'm gonna get a drink.
We've seen this before with makebao dishing out time sinks, like just taking out the trash. Espik taking care of Harmony sequence. Turned away from it. Does he have a solve there? I think we're about to see 3 solves come in.
Yep.
As,
Excuse me.
As now it's varicolored squares, where Espik is trying to grow that colorful bunch of squares so that it becomes a single color. Makebao pattern cube. Trying to make up this 3-1 deficit here in this tie match.
Looks like he's inputting pattern cube as he gets it as well, which may actually help him later on. Just because it makes it so you don't have to submit it all at once. You can kind of know immediately if you strike.
It's a tale of two halves. It's definitely a module you can do step by step once you know it. It seems very abstract at first, but
I remember
once you know it, you can do it interactively in a sense. It's a strange term for EFM, but
looks like Crackbox is being solved. That's going to be the staff pick for this particular bomb.
looks like a simpler puzzle. It's pretty easy to separate the odds and evens digits. We're trying to put the numbers 1 through 10 in so that all the touching numbers orthogonally and diagonally are either the same parity, even odd, or one away from each other.
Mm-hmm. One really nice thing about sound design that was recently re-added is the ability to preview the sound. Previously, you just have to go based off of memorization alone. You wouldn't actually have a chance to listen to what you sound, so now the modules basically become trivial because of it, because you can just listen to both the original audio and your previewed audio as many times as you'd like.
It's a great change. Hard to communicate it if you're on a team bomb, but for an EFM challenge, I like it.
Yeah. I honestly think it's easier to do that module as a solo versus, like, you know, doing it even if you're on a team.
Yeah. I like the more communication-heavy modules better in general, but I'm
You've
talking
never
about
been
team
that
things
big
in
of an EFMer, I think.
Not yet, anyway.
Hmm.
Espik up 6-3 right now. Mastermind Cruel. Yes, that is a solved drive-in window to his left.
That is a misleading status light.
And now Melody Sequencer, 7-3 Espik on his own advantage bomb as makebao gets broken guitar chords off his own list. And now Melody Sequencer likewise. Likewise off makebao's list, likewise the module that Espik is doing, multiple senses of the word. Have to put the 4 preset bars in the correct spots, 1 through 8, and then record the remaining 4 on these tiny piano keys.
Indeed.
No strikes yet.
You've done a lot with Espik. How would you say, like, his diffusing strategy kind of, in a sense, is represented here in his EFMing strategy? Do you notice anything about, like, the order maybe which he's solving the modules or the speed at which he does his solos?
If I knew half the strategies he did, I would probably be an EFMer, a better EFMer. But unflappable is what I would say, probably of both of them as well, certainly. You've heard it in his voice as well, where he'll get mildly frustrated with things as well, but always stays on target. Both players recording now.
That's a Melody Sequencer solve on makebao.
So it will be 5 in a matter of moments as this crackbox get an 8 in that spot. There you go.
I still need to learn how to do crackbox.
Well, you see how it's chunked into odds and evens, basically, top left and bottom right, essentially. That's one of the easier examples. Some can really drive you nuts, but makebao making darn sure he's got it. It's lighting up green, that's 6. And now, drive-in window.
Hi, welcome to drive-in window.
A knuckle sandwich will cost $60.
Oh boy, that sounds like a wonderful deal.
Will cost $70.
Hard to hear on my end, I confess.
Will cost $30. Here are your sides. Secret sauce.
Let's just do this until Yabba Guy runs out of money. Yeah, can we not?
7.
8-6 Espik, 9-6 broken guitar chords. How about pattern cube? And then how about synesthesia?
Synesthesia there. It's gonna take a time sink, which could leave makebao a little bit of time to catch up.
But leaving it for the end this time. And remember, off Espik's list, so Espik should have some proficiency with it.
A midnight snack with secret sauce. Microsoft Sam.
Makebao might be a skosh slower than Espik's pace overall, I think is fair to say, but never say never.
Has no more money.
I'm only saying that probably because there are no strikes yet. We haven't seen the last of this yet.
Microsoft Sam would not like sodium chloride.
Even with
Microsoft Sam
modules,
doesn't really
Makebao is not the
fluoride.
most familiar with, although he's no doubt familiar with Harmony Sequence, but he's very good at sight reading. Very, very good.
Amazing sight reading. Looks like we've finished the drive-in window read, and it looks like he's gonna submit the incorrect solution. I believe it was 3390 that Espik submitted. My memory serves me right.
Was Makebao doing Harmony Sequence whilst the drive-in window was playing?
Indeed, and that may have caused the strike.
Knuckle sandwich will cost $60.
Well, you could play it infinite amount of times.
Sure.
I thought it was a great time-saving strategy, but as it is, Makebao's time is slipping away and the solve advantage.
And
But
that's a
Espik strikes
strike.
on Pattern Cube. And now we've got an interesting match on our hands.
Keep in mind, whoever wins this bomb will end up winning the entire match. If we tie, though, well, we've got a set of tiebreakers to use.
Lil Broomstick would like a knuckle sandwich. Lil Broomstick would also
We should go to a shootout. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not Gary Bettman.
Sodium chloride.
Knockout round. No, I'm not Jeff Sutphin.
Midnight snack with
A duel at dawn.
Microsoft Sam would like what Lil Broomstick is having.
We gotta stop making game show references. Eventually, one of us is gonna say, "Will you start the fans,
Lil
please?"
Broomstick would also like a midnight
Thank
snack.
you.
Microsoft Sam would not like sodium chloride.
Another public service performed here on KTaNE
Microsoft
League.
Sam has no more money.
Here comes
There
the
it
synesthesia
is.
solve for Espik. This would be the penultimate solve.
Okay, that will be $3.50. Thanks.
Makebao got the drive-in right. Now it's Mastermind Cruel.
Espik
9-8
flying through that synesthesia.
That sound design you hear with that
That was easy.
sound. Sounds good to me. Yes, 9. How about synesthesia? How about Mastermind Cruel?
That's
Does Espik have it?
synesthesia
Yes, it's green.
Is green. It's just down to pattern cube now, as both people are running very, very close to solving their bombs. Keep in mind, though, it ends up being whoever is going to solve that bomb first.
Pattern cube off of Makebao's list, though. Espik should have some familiarity with it. So Makebao does synchronization, which... Was it him that got tripped up by it a couple of times? A few
Both
bombs
of
ago?
them, Espik struck once, and I think Makebao struck once as well.
Here we go again.
But it looks like it was strikeless on Espik's bomb this time around.
And now 3 minutes remaining as well. Remember, if we tie on the same module count, that is a draw, and it would be a drawn match, save for said tiebreaker criteria as laid out by MCD 573.
That's one done.
Lights starting to blink at the same speed here.
There's two.
Espik contemplating Pattern Cube at the same time. Anytime Pattern Cube comes in, it should be all over. It will be all over since Espik's ahead on time.
That's 4. Now he's just got to synchronize it by hitting it on an 8.
The easy part.
There you
That's
go.
10. Mastermind Cruel versus Pattern Cube.
It's getting close.
2 minutes. Someone's going to get it. 2 minutes on one strike, I should add.
So that's about minute 45.
Basically. $96 seconds?
Just about.
Yeah, because 80% of the time, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I went to college.
Yay! I have not gone to college yet.
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 124 remaining here. Has Makebao plugged that first color in?
I think he has.
Second. Yes!
There's a
Makebao! That's it!
solve!
Whoa!
And with that, Makebao wins the match!
Whoa!
Oh, and Espik just gets Pattern Cube!
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, wow! That came
And
down to
does
the
it very
wire.
well.
Alright. I still
What
got
beautiful
it done.
solve
That's
music,
good.
too. My goodness. Well, that is it for this week 3 action. Makebao defeating Espik 2-1. So, Makebao took both of the advantage bombs, basically. Espik took the third bomb. And wow.
Wow, that's all I can say. I mean, Makebao is behind on that bomb. It reminds me of when we were commentating James versus Benjamin, and Benjamin had a really low solve count only to push through at the end.
That was an extreme case because he was just cashing in stuff thing after thing, but Makebao just kept going and going and
pulled
eventually
ahead.
got there. And eventually the pattern cube advantage becomes significant because Makebao did it quite a bit quicker, and then Mastermind Cruel held his own, and that was that at the end.
Yeah, it was really amazing just to see how he did that. I have a feeling, considering there were 3 yellows there on that Mastermind Cruel, it would have been particularly easy because all he would have to do would be plug in those, and if he sees that it goes down instead of up, he knows he put a color in the wrong place.
I'm having a look here at next week's matchups here. What I have here is Legend Wille versus Espik in week 4 and Maske Elite versus Makebao in week 4. And then in Group B, we have Username and James, Bianca Caleb, Teppel and Ben with Edan on a bye week. And then Group C, Zerodi versus yours truly, MCD. And then Procyon versus Asu with Cookie and Jasper on bye week. And teams are all complete because it was just a 4-team group there.
So we'd
So
be
that is
moving
what
on
we
into
have
the
to-
quarterfinals for the teams.
Hey, don't forget, subscribe to the Panda. You'll get more KTaNE League action, including the finals, the playoffs to come. There's going to be a lot of fun action ahead.
There's
MCD,
so
anything to add
much.
before we sign off?
I think, if anything, we should just, again, give a wonderful and giant thank you to Panda for putting all this together. It is so amazing just to see everything come together like this and us being able to commentate on these amazing matches, because we really get to see the best of the best come to compete, you know?
It takes a lot to pull off these tournaments successfully. Thanks again so much for tuning into this KTaNE League action. My name's Yabba Guy.
And my name's MCD. We'll see you
Bye-bye.
all next week. Bye-bye.